Well, Paul and I were at Shampooey State Park camping here to go to the Tulip Festival. We noticed that there were a lot of dandelions blooming, which haven't started to bloom in our neighborhood yet. So we picked some, and we're sitting here at the picnic table trimming the greens off, and we're going to have plenty to make our first batch of dandelion jelly. See, the way we do this, I'll show you how Paul's doing it. We grab the petals and we just cut off that green underneath to get most of the green out and just leave the petals. Some recipes will tell you to pick each petal off, but that's a lot of work, and I've made this before and get most of the greens away, and it turns out perfect every time. So we already have, we're going to have 8 cups, and that's enough for 2 batches, so aren't they pretty? Okay, the recipe we're using for our dandelion jelly takes 2 quarts of water to 4 cups of dandelion petals. So when we picked the petals and trimmed them, we ended up with 8 cups of petals. So we have put in 4 quarts of water into this pot and the 8 cups of petals. And the recipe says to boil this for 3 minutes. So this is our little stove in our trailer. So we're going to go ahead and get this the juice all ready to go, and we'll put it in the refrigerator, and when we get home we'll go ahead and make it into jelly. Our pot is boiling now, and we set our timer. Set our timer for 3 minutes. When 3 minutes are up, we'll turn off the heat, and then we're going to take this pot out, set it on the picnic table with the lid on it, and just leave it maybe there all night to cool, because my recipe says that we should let it cool all the way down, because then you get a richer color before you strain out the petals. So that's our plan. Okay, Paul's going to carry this out to the picnic table very carefully. I put a towel down so we won't scorch the table. There we go. We've got this great big lid that will sit over it. Could do this way maybe. There we go. We'll leave it there to cool. Okay, that's what our dandelions look like so far as they're cooling. I asked Paul to talk to you about his conversation with the park ranger.
So we're in an Oregon State Park. Diane likes to make dandelion jelly, so there's a lot of dandelions growing around, so I started picking them, and the ranger came by and I asked her if I could pick these dandelions, and she said, yeah, that'd be fine. She was explaining to me how in the fall these big oak trees drop a lot of acorns, and the local pig farmers come out and pick up the acorns. She didn't know if they could or not, so she had to look it up. And she found out that you can pick up 5 gallons of acorns per day per person. And the pig farmers would come out and get the acorns and take them home and feed them to their pigs in the fall to fatten them up. I thought that was kind of interesting little interlude to picking dandelions. So then the ranger went on to tell me that you can pick 5 gallons of dandelions per day if you want to, or berries or mushrooms or whatever you want in the state park. You can pick what, as long as you don't damage any of their stuff, you can pick up to 5 gallons of anything they have that grows in here that you want to take home and eat.
Our dandelions have cooled enough that we think we can strain them into this bowl, so Paul's going to do that. This is just to separate all the dandelions from the dandelion juice so that we can make jelly. Before we start making jelly, we'll strain it many, many more times. Look at that.
You don't want me to squeeze it out, do you?
No. Yeah, you don't want to squeeze it or push it through, because that might make your jelly cloudy. Just let it run through like we're doing. Okay, and we'll take this home. We'll put it in a Ziploc a couple of gallon Ziploc bags probably and put it in the refrigerator, and then we'll take it home, and when we're ready to make our dandelion jelly, we'll come back and share that with you.
Okay, so we took a little trip over to Woodburn, Oregon to the Tulip Festival. In the place we camped, Shampooey State Park, had some great dandelion patches in it. So we picked a bunch of dandelions and decided we'd make some dandelion jelly. So I got Diane over here working on it. We have things on the stove, or jars and sugar and pan to cook it in, and the dog, of course. So Diane's going to open up a bag of dandelion juice that's been strained. She's going to pour it through the strainer. To make the juice, what we do is take the dandelions and cut off the yellow petals.
All that got strained out.
All that got strained out.
So we do that
And then
twice.
we boil it for 3 minutes. Strain it twice.
Strain it twice.
And we end up with a nice pan of dandelion juice.
Okay.
So we're going to measure that into the
Set that aside, but
pot.
I've already measured out. Our recipe takes 3.5 cups, and that's what this is here. Okay. Into the
So we're going
pot.
to put 3.5 cups in the pot.
Two tablespoons lemon juice. Let me turn the burner on to get started. 1, 2 of lemon juice. A package of powdered pectin, fruit pectin. Oops. Okay, we'll stir that all together really well. And our recipe card says, bring to a boil. So that's our next step. Bring to a boil. And when it boils, then we'll add the sugar.
Okay, so our dandelion juice has come to a boil. So we're going to put in 5.5 cups of sugar. And stir until it comes to a full boil. A full rolling boil. And once it comes to a full rolling boil, we'll stir it constantly for 3.5 minutes. And then take it off the heat and put it in jars.
Hi. I'm stirring. Watching the sugar dissolve. Takes a little bit for that to happen. You might have thought the dandelion juice looked pretty dark and green and not that pretty, but it's already turning to that beautiful golden honey color that we like so well. Have to stir it so it doesn't stick. The sugar's all dissolved now. And when it boils, we'll set a timer for 2.5 minutes.
There's the dog supervising everything like she should be. now they're all ready for a bath.
I had to add a little bit more water to the pot because the jars weren't quite covered, but they are now. So put the lid on. And we'll get back to you when they're done boiling.
Okay, they boiled the 10 minutes, so it's time to take them out of the water bath. Oh, look at how beautiful that is. We'll let them sit here on the counter until they cool. Probably overnight. And they'll be all ready to give away.
Listen carefully. You might hear the lids pop as they seal.
Is that jars? I hear it clicking.